There's something about OpenClaw right now that feels very familiar and not in a good way. It feels like one of those moments where the conversation around the tool starts growing faster than the actual business value created with the tool. That is always dangerous because when that happens, people stop focusing on customers and they start focusing on each other. That's the trap. Right now, look at what a lot of people are actually doing around OpenClaw. They are sharing setups, they are comparing workflows, they are talking about memory systems, they are optimizing prompts, they are discussing token efficiency, are showing tool stacks, they are selling frameworks, they are teaching others how to build with it. Fine, but here is the real question. Who is the customer? Not the builder, not the hobbyist, not the person buying another guide. The actual customer. The person outside this ecosystem. The person who does not care what OpenClaw is. The person who only cares whether a painful problem gets solved. That is the question a lot of people are avoiding because it is much easier to stay inside the ecosystem and look sophisticated. It is much harder to go outside the ecosystem and get paid. And that distinction matters. A lot of people right now are not building businesses. They are building things that make them feel like they are building businesses. That is not the same thing. You can have a polished workflow, you can have a beautiful dashboard, you can have a complex agent setup, you can have memory, orchestration, tools, prompts, and automation everywhere. You still have no business because the only test that matters is brutally simple. Does somebody pay you real money for the real outcome? That is it. No praise, no attention, no curiosity, money. And then there is a second question. After all your costs, is there any margin left? Because this is where fantasy usually dies. People love talking about what the system can do. They talk much less about what it costs to run. Token costs, hosting costs, debugging time, failure handling, human supervision, support burden, manual cleanup, all the ugly parts. That is where a lot of these impressive demos fall apart. The workflow looks brilliant. The economics look terrible. And if the economics do not work, then the business does not work. Simple. We have seen this pattern before. In search engine optimization, a lot of people made money selling ranking advice before they built durable businesses from search traffic. In crypto, many operators made more from groups, newsletters, and education than from products with lasting customer demand. In e-commerce automation, many found it easier to sell the dream of the system than to run profitable stores at scale. The pattern repeats because the meta market often grows faster than the real market. That is what OpenClaw builders need to understand. The danger is not just bad execution, the danger is ecosystem self-reference. Builders building for builders, consultants advising builders, creators posting for builders, educators selling to builders. Everybody is active, everybody sounds smart, everybody looks early, but the question still remains. Who outside this circle is paying? That question cuts through everything because once the money starts flowing, more easily to people teaching others how to maybe make money with the tool, the ecosystem starts folding inwards. That is when the tool stops looking like a business enabler and it starts looking like a participation economy. That does not mean OpenClaw is worthless. It does not mean nobody will build something real. Some people will find serious use cases. Some people will build profitable services. Some people will create real infrastructure. But the burden of proof is much higher than a lot of people want to admit. If you are serious, you should be able to answer a very few basic questions. What exact problem do you solve? Who pays for it? How much do they pay? What does delivery cost? What is left after fulfillment? If those answers are weak, your business is weak. If those answers are vague, your business is vague. If those answers do not exist yet, then you do not have a business yet. You have an experiment, and that is fine. But call it what it is. Do not confuse technical motion with commercial traction. Do not confuse ecosystem applause with demand. Do not confuse building activity with business validation. The market does not care how elegant your workflow is. The market does not care how refined your prompts are. The market does not care how many insiders are impressed by your setup. The market cares about one thing. Can you solve a real problem for a real customer at a profit? That is the standard. Everything else is noise. So if you are building with OpenClaw right now, stop trying to impress other builders. Find someone outside the bubble. Find a painful problem. Sell a real outcome. Track your revenue. Track your cost. Track your margin. Then you will know whether you are building a business or just participating in a very sophisticated sandbox. Thank you.